Hard-hitting, pull no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And folks, we got a massive issue unfolding right now with the U.S. housing market. We have a massive issue unfolding right now with California, and it's about to take the whole nation along for the ride. This is insanity what we continue to have to talk about. Today we're going to have a talk about why, in fact, California is going to be a big threat to the rest of the nation. We're going to take a look at a little article and some stats surrounding that, and this one's going to be crazy, so buckle up and strap in. Like I said, as a licensed realtor here in California, I've been living in the Wild West. It's an absolute dogfight coming to real estate. It's been insane, head spinning. Came to YouTube, started giving real talk, warning people this is an artificially created housing bubble. It's going to have blowback, the dust will settle, and we will pay the piper, and we are seeing that right now, my friends. We are going through a massive cool down, and the reason that this one is so very important is California is the world, not the nation, the world's fifth biggest economy. We are massive, and this market, when it crashes, it's going to take the rest of the nation down with it because of that very fact. You can't have the housing market in the world's fifth biggest economy crash, and California always gets euphoric in a housing bubble, and it always crashes when a housing bubble pops. Let's go ahead and roll this quick article, take a quick look at it. We'll meet back right here and wrap this one up. All right, folks, let's just skim through this one really quick and get started now. Buckle up and strap in. Here we go. Housing market California for June. Home sales and home prices fell across the state of California in June, finally fulfilling a wish of many who were asking when prices would fall. The combination of housing market downturn risk, rising interest rates, and inflation are making more California homeowners consider selling their properties. Away from deals at a faster pace, too. Judging by declining sales, which are uncharacteristically slow at peak buying season, realtors' latest outlook this month, and expected rising interest rates, the prediction is for a cooling California housing market. Market velocity is falling at a faster rate. Recently, CAR reported a record low number of homes viewed per home buyer, now at 8, and 3 of them are online viewings. 2 years ago, home buyers viewed 12 homes on average. California is being blamed for fast rising housing prices in other states such as Utah and Idaho. Active listings increased by double digits again. And here you go, friends. Look at this insane spike in listings. The writing is clearly on the wall. All right, so there you go. A few stats on what's going on here in California and why it is so important to watch what California does. Because like I said before, in real estate, it is absolute. I don't care where you live. I don't care where you live. Like I've said before, I might be recession proof. I am not recession insulated. Some areas will be the last to feel the effects of a downturn. Some will be the first to rebound, but everybody gets touched in a downturn. And California is, in fact, the nation's biggest economy. Like I said, the fifth when it comes to the world. Bigger than India. California alone, it's like an island of its own. It's almost like its own country in terms of its size, in terms of its economy. We have a massive influence on what happens in the rest of our country. We have a massive influence what happens to the rest of the world. So moving forward, one of the things I really wanted to do today is just let you know, one of the things we have to do is understand the waters that we're swimming in. We are seeing a massive cool down in the real estate market. We're seeing a massive cool down take place in California. It got way too euphoric. And like I said before, this wealth effect that was created through this whole stimulus, this artificially created economy, this artificial created housing market was stupid. The one thing we should have protected was the U.S. housing market, because everything, in fact, hinges on the U.S. housing market. When we lose the housing market, we lose everything. We're already seeing layoffs, job losses, a lot of pain just in the economy, inflation, and the rug pull that the federal government did. It was a little unfair, like I said, because a lot of people in areas like California and a lot of other areas that that we're seeing as well, your property values went up so much in value on paper, it made you feel wealthy, and you went out and spent money a lot differently had you not experienced that wealth effect. And we're seeing the blowback from that right now. This one is teetering on a razor's edge, and I hate to say it, as somebody who benefits from a euphoric housing market continuing to play out, I just knew there was no way this one could. Having lived through 2008 and suffered the blowback from that one, I've got great property today. I didn't even check to see what its values appreciated to, because it wasn't concerning to me, because it was income property. My primary home in 2008, I bought that thing, and it went upside down. And even though I could make the payment, it was no fun making a payment on a home that was no longer worth what I paid. I no longer owned that home the second that happened. It owned me, and I went along for the ride, dragging a depreciated asset along until eventually I was like, this thing's an anchor. It's gotta go. I gotta concentrate on my good real estate and get away from this bad real estate. I'm gonna help everybody do that.
It's gonna help you all understand this data even better. If we take a look at data from Redfin, everyone, we're looking at, on this map, the largest 300 metro areas in America, on the basis of home sales year over year. And what you can see is that most of this map is red, meaning that home sales have declined across most of America, which is good, because if we go back 3 months ago to April, we can see most of this map was blue, meaning that in April, home sales were still up across most of America. Well, now home sales are down, and they're really down in certain markets. The redder the housing market is, the more the home sales have collapsed. So one area I want to really focus on this video is California, because we can see big declines in home sales in California. Like if we zoom in here, take a look at this, everyone. This data is amazing. From Redfin, year over year change in home sales. In a place like Anaheim, there's a 34% decline in home sales in Orange County year over year. That's one of the highest in America. 34% fewer people buying a home today than a year ago. You know, that's the sign of the start of a housing crash. San Diego, similar situation. 33% decline in home sales in San Diego. So in SoCal, we're seeing a huge softening in home buyer demand. We haven't seen this type of softening in over a decade, since the last housing crash. We can also see Riverside, California, 22% decline, LA, 24% decline, and if we go up to the Bay Area, boy, does it look brutal in the Bay Area right now. I don't know, give me a shout out in the chat. We're live right now. If you guys are from the Bay Area, if you're seeing this, San Jose, 36% decline in home sales in San Jose, 32% decline in Oakland, 28% decline in San Francisco. So we're going to get into more of these cities in a second. I'm going to take your request, but the thing to understand is that California's housing market is leading this crash and leading this economic downturn in many ways, because the super high prices, the surge in mortgage rates, as well as the collapse of the tech industry, this is all putting a squeeze on California in particular, and not just California actually, but it's cities that are tangential to California as well. You should ask yourself a question. Do you live in a city where over the last 2 years, realtors and real estate investors said, there's so many people from California moving here and buying here? If you live in a city where people said that, chances are your city is also going to have a housing crash, because what's going on in California, all the economic headwinds, all the buyers dropping out, all the layoffs, it's going to spread. There's going to be contagion to all of the cities that are tangential to California. And let's just cover a couple of them real quick right now. If we zoom out, we can see an area like Reno, Nevada, 34% decline in home sales year over year. This was a city that a lot of people from the Bay Area fled to during the pandemic. Well, clearly there's not as many people fleeing, or people are getting laid off, because home sales are down 34% in Reno. They're down 31% in Boise, Idaho. A lot of you know at this point that Boise is one of the biggest housing bubbles in America. Home prices are going to continue to crash in Boise. Bend, Oregon, 27% decline. Even a market like Vegas now is seeing a huge decline, minus 26% home sales in Vegas. And so, again, ask yourself that question. If you live in a city where there was all these California buyers moving in, you are exposed to the tech downturn. You are exposed to the higher interest rates wreaking havoc on companies that don't make money, and the layoffs that result, and the decline in home buyer demand that results, which, as we discussed in the beginning, the decline in home buyer demand, the decline in home sales predicts future declines in home prices. Now, everyone,